Good evening, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Celtic take on Ajax in the first section of the Como Cup tonight, and it should be an interesting game. Hopefully we get to see our new striker playing for Celtic. Whether or not he's going to be the main striker remains to be seen. Whether we'll see Adam Ida playing tonight, and whether we'll see Cameron Carter-Vickers, whether we'll see Alistair Johnston. Are they all fit enough for this game? Have they had enough downtime? Their fitness shouldn't be too much of a problem for Alistair Johnston, because he did play international football quite late into the summer. I think he's only had around about 2 weeks off. So 2 weeks he's still maintained his fitness, so it shouldn't take a lot to get him back up to match fitness. Now, whilst we're waiting on the teams to be announced by Celtic, there is a bit of breaking news when it comes to the Premier Sports Cup. The Premier Sports Cup's draw is this Sunday. The last 16 draw for the 25-26 season, last 16, will take place on Sunday the 27th of July. It will be on after the coverage of St Mirren versus Ayr United. I wonder if we'll get Ayr United. That would be an interesting draw. 8 seeded clubs will be in the draw with European representatives: Celtic, Rangers, Hibernian, Dundee United, Aberdeen, plus 3 group winners with the best records. The second round ties will be on the 16th and 17th of August. Fantastic. Just what we need. That fills up the month quite well, isn't it? And then we're just waiting to see who we get in the Champions League for the qualifier of the Champions League as well. Let me just do some housework whilst I'm here. 2-1 to Celtic tonight, then beat 2 Como and get the third trophy of the season. Can Celtic make a treble? Realistically, can Celtic make a treble this summer? I mean, it would be funny if they did. It would be funny. But we'll wait and see. Wait and see how well we play tonight. I think tonight's maybe the biggest test that we've had of the summer so far. And if it goes like last season, I think we'll all be, not too worried going into. Well, of course we're going to be worried because we don't have the players. I mean, there's 2 players that have left the club that were on fire last pre-season: Nico Kuhn and Kyogo Furuhashi. And those players are 2 players that scored a hell of a lot of goals, and it remains to be seen whether or not that will affect the team, because there's a lot of goals to lose. And you can say what you like about Kuhn. He did fantastically well the first half of the season. He was on fire, as was Kyogo at points. So it does make you wonder if we have enough firepower to get us going at the start of the season, because the games come thick and fast. I mean, we can all have a nice jolly, and the fans will have a jolly out to this game today, out to Italy for a nice wee 4-day weekend, 5-day week in Italy. We trip out to Italy, see Celtic, see a fantastic city, eat some fantastic food, drink nice wine, load a few beers. It's brilliant, isn't it? Till we get down to business, and if we fail against the first team of the season, we'll soon see how long it takes the fans to get on the backs of the board and Brendan Rodgers. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. To be perfectly honest, I am hoping that doesn't happen. I'm just seeing if there's any news concerning Celtic. No, it's nothing to do with Celtic. Jump onto the Celtic Twitter. See if there's anything new. It's a little bit dark clouds. Oh, that's a menacing cloud in Como. Is that the clouds of discontent from Brendan Rodgers? If Brendan Rodgers could have made a cloud and hung it over Celtic Park, I think it would look exactly like this cloud. Let's get it up here. It would look exactly like this cloud. I'll tell you one thing. They will feel like they're back home with that weather. How's that done that? Just give me 2 seconds. They'll fix this. There we go. Could actually widen that a bit if we wanted. Get it over there, let you see it all together. That's a menacing cloud, isn't it? A really menacing cloud. That's got Brendan Rodgers written all over it. My mood can sell. That cloud says to me that's Brendan Rodgers' head when it comes to transfer policy at Celtic. That's what that cloud says to me. That's like the rage that's inside the manager's head. He can say what he likes in public, but I think the reality is that I don't think he's overly enamoured with the way that the transfer window has gone. And yes, we may get to the end of the transfer window, and why does it always rain on me? Let's hope it's raining goals for Celtic tonight. I think the fact that Como have just came up a division. Yes, they've got some fantastic players at the club, and they have just brought in... Oh, we're playing Ajax tonight. What am I talking about? Shut up. That's thinking forward. And Ajax, yeah, it's going to be the biggest test, isn't it? It's because we're in the Como Cup. Oh, yeah, there's even got the scoreline underneath. It's currently Ajax 0, Celtic 0, because the game's not even kicked off yet, has it? Anyway, that's the current situation when it comes to the weather. Let's jump into the comment section and see who's all on board tonight. Stephen Johnson was in first. Paradise Huddle 1. Warm up tonight, looking to hail. We warm up tonight. Paradise Found. Jim McClarty's in the house. Lindsay's in the house. Tam Mac. Mark. Van Gouda. So I think you're still trying to get him in it. Dave Morton's in the house. Stephen's in the house. 2-1 to Celtic. 2-1 to Celtic. I'll wait until we see the team. Double treble by the end of the season, says Fish in Scotland. It would be good if it could be a double treble. I mean, that would... I know it is just pre-season, and I know it's just pre-season games, but it's always good to get that little trophy in your hand. And if Celtic were to go on and win the Como Cup, it would... No, it's not out yet. As soon as it is, I will have the team up. Brian should be up in around about 6 minutes' time. But yeah, I think that if we were to win the Como Cup in Italy, and it would only... There's one part of me that says, yeah, it would be good, it would be nice if we won this cup. But there's another bit that we've got a big, huge sticking plaster over the team right now. And it's a sticking plaster that's been made to feel better by what Brendan Rodgers is trying to tell us. He reckons everything will be fine come the end of the window. Paradise Found says Kevin Dunn, a bit of his transfer still to be done. Brendan still to sign an extension to get the business done. I think any excuse for more merch supplies, treble. Could you imagine that? Treble t-shirts. Oh, don't. As if Celtic haven't fleeced us enough for merchandise this year already. That would just be ridiculous if they did. Anyway, that picture was taken 27 minutes ago. Well, it was taken maybe a bit more. It was uploaded to Twitter 27 minutes ago. Dark clouds overhead. There may be trouble ahead. That's Celtic all over, isn't it? It is Celtic all over. Presented in friendship. Oh my God, seriously, Celtic? There's nothing presented in friendship when it comes to Ajax, mate. Whoever, let's get this up on the screen. Whoever put this picture up. Presented in friendship. There's not much friendship between Ajax and Celtic over the years, that's for sure. Ask any fans that were in Amsterdam a few years back, and they'll tell you, yeah, there's not much friendship at all between Ajax and Celtic. They do have a good stadium. Presented in friendship. Ajax versus Celtic FC, 24th July 2025. And then they take to the pitch and kick 7 lumps at each other. But as for the Como Cup, and any cup that we enter, we should have the aspirations to win. Even the Champions League. Do we have aspirations to win the Champions League? John Paul Murray. You took the words right out of my mouth. Anybody on here believe anything that's put out in the Scottish media every time we go abroad? I tell you, it's their negativity again about Celtic fans. Yeah, not a word legend. They're all, yep, I know they are, Kaiser. Nice to see you this evening, mate. We are still waiting on the team news. It'll be around about 50 minutes. There will be a watch along tonight. I am going to stop this video though, and the watch along should now be live, and it is. I'm going to do this, and then what I'll do is I'll put the. I went live with the wrong one, haven't I? No, I went live with that one. Jesus, is that many lives tonight? Let's get a copy of this. Put it up there. We'll just test that out, and then copy that. There's actually 6 people waiting on the watch along. They're not on this video. That would just confuse people, won't it? Oh dear. Love it. That's going to be the live watch along video, because there was issues with YouTube. There was issues that I came across with YouTube doing 3 hours 52 minutes live, and having spent 30 minutes on chat to YouTube today. It was suggested that I don't do a near enough 4 hour live. So I'm breaking it up into a smaller section. So we're doing this video. We're just waiting. The team will be out in a minute or so. I'm just waiting to see exactly if Brendan Rodgers is going to ring the changes and bring in the experienced lads, or will he go with Dane Murray at the back? Will he go with Yamada up front? Do you play a striker in this game that's only had a couple of days on the training pitch with you? I mean, this is what the thing that Brendan Rodgers reiterated time and time again, that he wants players in so that they can get the system set up. They can have the change of formations that they're going to do throughout the season. They can have the tactics and the tactical changes that they're going to make during games. They could train that into the players so that when it happens in the first games of the season, you know, everyone knows what they're doing, and we're going to go into the season and we're going to have 4 first team players that have never kicked a ball in pre-season anger with Celtic. And will it take them time, ultimately, to get up to speed? Wow. The team is out. And I'm going to get it on the screen right now. It's a very interesting team by Celtic tonight. Yang starts, as well as several others. Wow. I've never seen... I just did say it. I said it, didn't I? I just said it about Dane Murray. Will Dane Murray start? And he does. Dane Murray does start. Right, let me sort this out. As a team up there. Let me get the subs. Get the subs going here. So that is the team that is out tonight. Schmeichel, Ralston, Murray, Scales, Tierney. Alistair Johnson doesn't come back into the team. He's not had enough training. In the midfield is McGregor, Benji, Hatate, Yang, Dyson Maeda and Adam Ida up front. So it's your normal front 3 that you would be expected. Yang, Maeda, Dyson and Adam Ida. It'll be interesting to see whether he plays Benji in the holding midfield role. Beside Callum McGregor. Do we go? I was actually watching a video this morning about how the 4-2 situation works. So the two sitting holding midfielders, and the reason that Brendan Rodgers and top coaches go for that is when the teams are pushing up, it gives you more players in a defensive mode, so that they can then move out the press quicker, and so that they can get the counter-attack going quicker. It was very interesting. It was a tactical genius that I was watching talking about it. Somebody way better knowledge in football than what any of us have got, that's a certainty. Anyway, Kasper Schmeichel's back in, Tony Ralston's in, Dane Murray starts again. That's a massive shout for Dane Murray. It's looking likely that Dane Murray is pushing. I mean, scales. I mean, when you look at the bench, you've got Sinisalo, you've got Dohan, you've got Rice, you've got Trusty McCown, Shin Yamada. You've got him called Shin, they've not got Yamada. You've got Shin, they've got Osmond, Carter Vickers, Tillio, Kenny, Inamura, Engels, Bernardo, Summers, Forrest, and Donovan. So there's not a lot of the younger players on the bench. It is a strong bench. It is I did say that this would happen. Brendan Rodgers tends not to utilise too many of the youthful players now going into the last 2 games of pre-season, because you want to start getting the nucleus of the squad that ultimately is going to go into the start of the season. You know, the players that are going to be there the first game of the season, you want them to be in and around the squad. And let's face it, it's the only subs that we've got. So tell me what you think the score may be. Adam Ida getting his shot up front. He starts. CCV's on the bench. Yep, Cameron Carter-Vickers is on the bench. I just said that. The substitutes on the bench are Sinisalo, Dohan, Rice, Trusty, McCowan, Shin Numada, Osmond, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Tillio, Kenny, Inamura, Engels, Bernardo, Summers, Forrest, and Donovan. I'll tell you one thing, if there's going to be a complete change at half time in this game or later on, it's not a bad team to bring on. I mean, apart from Tillio, I think he's the only one that's more than likely to be leaving Celtic now. I mean, it was said that the deal was done to take Tillio away from Celtic. There's lots of media outlets talking about it at the weekend, but it's never happened as yet. Maybe Celtic are saying, look, we need to hang on. Wait a minute, mate. We can't let you go yet until we get another winger in. Maybe Brendan Rodgers is turning around and said that. You know, we can't let him go yet. The deal's there. The deal's ready to be rubber stamped, Marco, but we're short on players. And that's the reality of the situation that Celtic are in. You've only got James Forrest and Marco Tillio as wingers on the bench. You know, so I wonder if Ben Summers will get some action tonight. It'd be good to see him. But I reckon that Trusty, McCowan, Yamada will come on. I can't see Johnny Kenny. I mean, we've got 4 strikers on the bench. That never happens at Celtic. That's a first. Tell me in the comments, when was the last time, and who were the strikers? When was the last time that we had 4 strikers on the bench? It'd been a long time ago. It'd be a long time ago. I'll just get a copy of this. So that is the big news tonight. And I've got to say, 4 strikers. I'd like to see Yamada on. Yeah, I think it's an interesting one, because is Brendan Rodgers teasing going to a 4-4-2 at some point in this game? Will Brendan Rodgers go to a 4-4-2 in this game? He has to. Well, with the amount of strikers that's on the bench, we've got 3 strikers on the bench. I mean, you're maybe going to play probably when Tony Mowbray. Forget he played 4 strikers away to Killie. We still lost. Yeah, let's not talk about Mowbray. That night in Paisley. I think CCV will guarantee his place. Picking up some injuries wasn't his best last season. Yeah, Danny boy, I think that's why Celtic are still looking for a defender, someone that can take the place, because ultimately, I don't think that Cameron Carter-Vickers will see out a season again. I've just got a funny feeling. I don't think he'll see out a season. 4-4-2, what I've been wanting since last year. It's an interesting concept, but I don't think that Brendan... I mean, will we go to a 4-4-2? He's definitely got the players there for it. He's definitely got the players for it. And when you look at the way that Tierney plays, do you know, it's going to be... The big shout is can Inamura play on the left of a back 4? Can he play left back as a back 4? Because he tends to come in a little bit. He's not sticking to the byline like, do you know, what a left back would normally do. I mean, I know that Greg Taylor come inside, but that was by design from Ange Postecoglou. It's him that got him doing that. I mean, you'll see Forrest on the second half. I think you'll definitely see Carter-Vickers. The players you're going to see in the second half is going to be Trusty, Carter-Vickers, McCowan, Shin Yamada, Arne Engels, Paulo Bernat. It's going to be a full change, isn't it? He's going to change the whole team around about the 60 odd minute mark again. It has to be the only thing that he's going to do. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. Does it devalue from the game when he does so many changes? Well, it didn't the last time. Can't wait until someone takes Brendan Rodgers' place, says Paul Baird. 3 seasons in a row, Paul Baird is sticking to his gun that he wants rid of Brendan Rodgers. It seems like Benji is ahead of Engels in the pecking order. Do you think so? I think that they play in different positions. It'll be interesting to see Benji playing further forward, because he's been used. He has been used as a... It could be the 4-2-3-1. I think Celtic are going in 4-2-3-1. Definitely. You've got Ralston. You've got Ralston, Murray, Scales, Tierney at the back. You've got McGregor, Benji sitting just in front of them. There's the 2. You've then got Hatate, Yang and Dyson Maeda in front of them, and then you've got Adam Ida up front in his own. So yeah, I think you'll find that Benji is playing in the holding midfield role again tonight, and that's the reason that he is in that position. It's just my thoughts on it. Could be completely wrong, but it is the way that we've been playing the past couple of weeks. We already played 4-4-2. Maeda comes into the box a lot of the times, floating in and out. We don't really play 4-4-2, Big Rab, because Callum McGregor's still hanging back a bit. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I've got to start. I'm starting to agree with Paul Beard. Jesus. Close that down. 4-1-1-3-1 with Alistair Johnson and K-Tish pushing in the wings. Not a chance. It'll be 4-2-3-1. Guaranteed it's 4-2-3-1. I'm not saying that I got a tip off, but just saying. I'm relaxed about Brendan leaving. We've been spoilt with managers for a while, says Pork Chop Express. The next one will keep the juggernaut going. Maybe a 4-4-2 with Benji on the right. Nah, not a chance. He's never played Benji on the right yet. He's not played Benji on the right yet, so I think we'll wait on that one and just see how it goes. Welcome to the chat, Teresa. Let's see some of the headlines and see what they're saying. Celtic FC to face Ajax in the Como Cup. Celtic confirmed. Yang starts. Cameron Carter-Vickers on the bench. There's still conflicting reports about a certain winger. I'm getting actually fed up with them. Some media sources are saying that Celtic are in talks, and some agents are saying that we're not in talks. So who do you believe? That's all the airspace that's getting tonight. Right, give me your predictions, the scoreline predictions in the comments. 4-2-3-1 out of possession, but the possession Hatate drops from Cam to allow McGregor to build and support. Benjamin Engels. Arne Engels isn't playing though. Rodgers will sign a new deal. People need to chill, says Liam. This is true. After a dreadful half tonight, Adam Eder fans will be saying he's better coming off the bench. Happens all the time, saying Danny Boy. Gareth says, Baz, you've got well hairy arms. I mind that at school. Meant you were good in the sack. Let's get on to the scorelines. 18-0 says Lanky. 4-3 to the Hoops says Kaiser. Dave Hislop says 4-1. 3-2 says James. James Beatty's in the house. James Beatty's in the house from the good old USA. Reg67 says 3-1 Celtic. Jed Johnson's going for 3-1 Celtic. I'm on the tick. Mick is going for 4-3 Celtic. Big Des is going for 3-0. And Wee Paddy is going for 1-0. He says Stephen Johnson's in the house. Paul Munning says 3-1 is Celtic. Saneris coming in from North London says 2-1 is Celtic. Jerry Cassidy says 1-0 Celtic. James Beattie says 3-2 is Celtic. And Gareth Roberts says 3-2. I'm not sure who to though. Dave Martin says 3-1 Celtic. Michelle goes for 1-1 then penalties. Don't say shit like that. We're crap at penalties. Remember the last time? 3-1 says Jim F. Leo Miles says 3-2. Keep the faith. Teresa's going for 3-0. This will be a tight game. 2 each. Ooh. Get a grip says 2-1 Celtic. Hatate and Scales. Poof, Scales with a header. 4-1 Celtic says Danny Boy. Joseph Docherty's going for 4-0 or 4-1. A dreadful half watered down with whiskey. James Gunn's going for 3-1 Celtic. There are plenty of fans who could give me Baz. It's just not forthright about it as I am. Yeah, it's always going to come. It always happens. What do I think? I'll tell you in a minute once I've just got through the rest of these. Paul Bear's going for 3-0. Mark Rennie's going for 3-2. Spacey's going for 3-1. Derek's going for 4-2. Cornman. I hope you've got a good channel. Go to the channel. He's got a little Mr. T, a little teeny weeny Mr. T getting chased about by a woman. Oh Jesus, I love checking out other folks' channels. When CCV and Trusty scored, Celtic, who cares, right? I reckon that the scoreline will be 3-1 Celtic. Ajax 1, Celtic 3. There we go, I've got my scoreline locked in. Let's see what the Morrow does against us. Brenton wanted the big name. Let's see what the Morrow does against us. Brendan wanted a big time. This is true. Jim McClarty's going for 3-1 Celtic. Brian's going for 67-0 Celtic. I can't see that happening. They're all bangers. Oh jeez. I love it. Absolutely love it. Anyway, that's the predicted scorelines coming in. Eddie McPhee's going for 1-1. 1-1. Do you really think that this team's got goals in it tonight? I don't see why there's the negativity about us scoring. I mean, when you look at it, Scales has got a cracking head on him for a corner or a ball coming in from Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney is going to start. I've told you when Tierney signed, I said that Tierney will be involved in around about 25 goals compared to goals that he will score, but he will have about 20 assists this season, and I reckon he might score a few himself. He'll be involved in at least 25 goals this season. That's my prediction. Yang, it's a big half for Yang. Massive half for Yang. He needs to show that Brendan Rodgers, that why Brendan has this trust in him, why Brendan Rodgers wants him to stay at Celtic, why Brendan Rodgers feels that there's a player in there that can just produce it on an ongoing basis is the big issue. Is the big issue with Yang, and it has been over the last season. Benji's got a goal in him. Hitate's got goals in him. Yang's even got a goal in him. Dyson's got goals, and so does Adam Ida. Adam Ida scored. Look, there's two players on the pitch that scored 50 goals between them last season, and we think that we're not going to give this lot a game. I want to give them a gubbin. I really do. I want to give them a good old gubbin. 3-0 says Brian. But it's always dangerous. What's the crack with Johnson? He's not fit enough. He only came back to training this week, so he only started his first day back in pre-season training was Monday. So he's never going to get. He'll come on in the second half. I reckon he'll come on in the 60th minute. No, he's not, because he's not even on the bench. Haha. He'll play at the weekend. See, this is the issue. This is the issue that Celtic have got with players being away so much of pre-season. Do you know? It is a worry. But the upside, Cameron Carter-Vickers did a bit. Cameron Carter-Vickers has been back in training for a couple of weeks, so he's further ahead than Alistair Johnson. But you're wanting Alistair Johnson to get some game time pre-season, or what's the point of them going away with national teams? You know, Celtic teams have to start saying, and I've got it. You've got teams that played in America in the World Club Cup competition. I mean, they've had about 2 weeks off, but they've done that purely for money, you know, for financial gain. So hell mend them, and I hope every one of these teams have an absolute crap season. Always remember 3-1 Peta was class. Yep. I'm just checking it. A news story that's... A lot of people are saying that Yamada's going to come on in the second half. You would think he would. When you look at it, I mean, it's probably set up for Brendan Rodgers to do what he did in the last game and make wholesale changes. You know, it doesn't matter that it's for a cup. It's still a pre-season game, and they'll use it as a pre-season game. So it wouldn't surprise me if Trusty, McCowan, Yamada, Carter-Vickers, Tillio, Johnny Kenny, Paolo Bernardo, Arnie Engels and James Forrest come on in the second half. 9 players. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he makes the full wholesale changes. And then it's all about game time, isn't it? And that's what he'll say. It is all about game time. Yang was not the only one that failed that day. It was wrong to single him out. On what day? I said over the season he wasn't. AJ's not long married. I'm surprised the boy's able to walk. Never mind run a bit. His energy levels are a bit low. We'll not talk about that because Brendan Rodgers spoke about that last year with a certain player, and it was the only time that he turned up. If Yamada comes on, he will score. He's superb, that boy, says get a grip. We'll just need to wait and see, because there was a lot of people who had doubts about Inamura, and even Brendan Rodgers had doubts about Inamura. I just hope that they have picked out a striker. Baz, if your mother scores, you need to sing my song. No chance, Michelle. Oh, God. I'm not the one that's airing that. Can't wait to see Shin. Can't wait to see Shin. I wonder how his shins will keep up in Scottish football. But anyway, there's lots of... on for another 25 minutes and then we swap channels. Let me just go back. Let me just see this a second. Fine. I'm just wondering if he does make these changes in the second half. I wonder if he will make a change of formation, because it will be a 4-2-3-1 formation. And I'm just wondering, with the players that he's got, can he put... He's not going to put any of the strikers. I mean, he's got 3 strikers on the bench. He's got Shin, Osmond and Kenny on the bench. I mean, surely if he's going to make changes... But then again, we're saying that Shin Yamada's a striker. I think that you will see Shin Yamada in the second half, but it'll be on the wing. And it'll be Johnny Kenny that'll be through the middle. There's my prediction for you. Yamada will not come on as the main striker. Johnny Kenny will be on in the second half as the striker, and Shin Yamada will be on the wing. There you go. I need to go in the wing with James Forrest on the other one. We never thought of that, did we? I mean, we're all thinking that this guy's going to come in and be a striker. I mean, he's just classed as a forward, and modern day football, and I think it's crazy, but you've got 2 wingers that are classed as forwards, and then you've got a striker through the middle. But Yamada can play in any position, so it will be interesting to see what the second half brings out. Baz, you're doing a live? Yes, we're doing a live straight after this. It is on this. It starts in around about 22 minutes. The live. Like I said, I was going to carry on with the one video, but I was in talks with guys. If you've noticed that the screen has changed, it's work in progress. I've been busy, so you can see that the beginning is there, mate. The beginning is there, and once I just sort out 1 or 2 other things. I was actually looking at different software. Nope, I'm not going to the pub. Not going to the pub to watch it. There's not really any decent pubs within. I've got to drive to go to the pub, and I'd rather sit and have a beer and watch all we use lot. So, the first decent pub to watch it's about 20-minute drive down the motorway, which is not really much use. If it's Japan or Japanese players, probably. Ajax lost Evansville last season at PSV, 10 points, but they are beatable. Of course they're beatable. They're definitely beatable. I think the Ajax are... Listen, the Celtic did quite well in the Champions League last season. And this is where I'm going to mark our progress this year. Last year was all about... Brendan Rodgers was always going to be tested. Get a mobility scooter. I'd get there in about 2 days in a mobility scooter. There's no Benidorm or Stern. Brendan Rodgers last season was always going to be judged on Champions League. Never mind what happened with the league. We were going to win the league. We were going to win a double. You know, we should have had the treble, but we know what happened there. Brendan Rodgers was always going to get pass marks on what happened in the Champions League. If we'd done absolutely rubbish in the Champions League last year, there would now be around about 50% of the Celtic fan base saying, get Rodgers out the door and get someone in that can do it in Europe. And Rodgers bought himself a season. He bought himself this season by the team doing well in Europe. Considering when you look at how and what we've done in Europe the past couple of seasons, do you know we could have won more games? There was a couple of games that I thought we could have won that we didn't, but he will be tested again. You could always get an Uber buzz. They don't do Ubers in the countryside. They don't even do taxis. I think the nearest taxi is about meaty and tasty with a dash of HP sauce. What are you talking about, Michelle? What are you talking about? Anyway, Brendan Rodgers this year will be judged on what this team does in the Champions League. Never mind the fact that we've got the Premier Sports Cup on the 16th and 17th of August. That comes really fast. Brendan Rodgers will need to have his strongest team out available for that. Because remember what happened last season, the season before, 2 seasons ago, we lost the Premier Sports Cup to Kilmarnock at that very stage, the 16th and 17th of August. Last year, was that the first game against Falkirk, and we almost mucked up that game. So it's what about a rickshaw? No, you don't get rickshaws in the countryside, mate. Phone Maida to pick you up. He could do the run from Italy to here in about 2 minutes. And then he would still get back. And Dyson go and drop Baz off 20 minutes down the road for his bit. Cameron Carter-Vickers on standby. No show for Alistair Johnston. Headline. Are you worried that Alistair Johnston's not there? No, because he's only a couple of days back into pre-season. I won't be judging Rodgers on Champions League. Had we invested, then, says Liam, if we invested, then I would. But the club doesn't take Champions League seriously. Unfair to judge the coaches or players on that basis. That's something we'll talk about before. I'm actually going to... We'll do a little poll on that during the live. On the other video. I think that's an interesting one. But as our Celtic fans expecting more from European football than domestic this year, I think we should be aiming to finish higher up the league than 24th. Or 20. What was it? We finished last year 21st. 24th is the cut-off point in the Champions League. I think that we should be looking. If Brendan Rodgers says it's about improving a little bit each year, so we need to finish top 20 to top 15 this year in the Champions League. That has to be the standard that we're looking at. Because if it's not, then we're not progressing as a club. And if we're not progressing as a club, what's the use in having Brendan here? And it then comes to the question that if it's not Brendan, then it's who? But then what is the objective for the club? And are you happy as fans with just winning a double or the odd treble going forward? Have we lowered our expectations now? Have we reached the ultimate with our expectations on what Celtic can do as a club? Yes, it's all about keep on the continuation of winning the league, and this year we go for our 14th league title in 15 years. But surely there becomes a point when we see other teams that have similar finances to ours doing considerably better on a European context. Surely that has to be questioned. And then if not, it's like, where is the ambition? And is the football club then just being run as a business to produce players, bring them in for 18 months and sell them on? So it's all about profit now. It's not about football. Do you know, it opens up a whole load of questions about it opens up a whole load of questions of where we're going as a club, really. If we change manager next year, it's what are we expecting from the new manager? Do you know? And what are we expecting from the board? Because we've had the same board for such a long time now, and you know we've done 9 in a row. Is the ambition to go and try and do another 9 in a row? Will that suffice? Will that suffice as a fan base? This year we're heading Loose women now has become loose bars. Thank God I'm taking a break in 5 minutes and we're jumping on to the other live. What's the use of worrying? What's the use of hurrying? What's the use of anything? Rangers now own a milk club. Yeah, that's true. The players and coaches are doing incredible. Yeah, they are. Incredible things this season, but there's a ceiling, and we're at that ceiling, but I refuse to increase that ceiling by investing. And that's Liam. That's kind of what I was trying to get across, but you waxed it so much lyrically better than myself. It is about we have hit a ceiling on where we are as a club. Now, we're either a Champions League club that want to be in the Champions League on an ongoing basis. To be in the Champions League every year, you have to have a certain quality of player. To be in the Champions League and just... T1, Baz, your reading is bad, bro. There's loads of comments. I'm not reading every comment, mate. I've not got time to read every comment. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking at 2 different screens and try to read comments, and then 9 in a row would be satisfying, but 10, maybe 10's the unfinished business. Maybe the board secretly are pissed off, and they're banking the cash because they know that Sevco will once again win the league this year. That takes us to the 5, right? We're at the halfway. We're over the halfway to the 9. And it's not too early enough to start talking about it, because we started talking about it at the same time the last time, you know. And it's maybe the club ambition is to have dominance, to hit that 10. They want the 10, and maybe then they'll go, right, we've done our job. Let somebody else take over. Anyway, we'll wait and see. Ange isn't coming back. Stop the Ange talk. Listen to what Ange said. Lanky used to type and Baz would blame me, says Kaiser. Airport security at work today. I really needed to know that. We need to get the finger out, says Joseph, with regards of targets before the Champions League qualifier. Well, it's less than 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks now to the Champions League qualifier. And there we go. The board aren't ambitious. St. Mirren, yeah, we need players in for the St. Mirren game. Anyway, right, I'm going to have a little sabbatical for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back on the other live for the game. There is people on it already. We will get the warm-up for that game on the watch along. That starts in 11 minutes and 20 seconds. So that YouTube doesn't give us any issues tonight. Yamada's quicker at the end of the Hun season. The 10 is, yeah, Europe is where we must aim. I think so. I think we need to do something in Europe. I mean, even if it's you know, winning a knockout round game would be nice, because it's been a long time since we've won a knockout round game, as we keep getting reminded on an ongoing basis. And I think it would be good for Brendan Rodgers to try and achieve that with Celtic. And so that's why I think it's a big year. Ultimately, for him to do that, we need to finish 8th in the Champions League phase. We need to finish 8th. That should be our ambition, is to finish in the top 8. I think that we have this. We did have the squad. I'm going to say did, because I think losing Kyogo, losing Jota, losing Kun has put this squad in a very, very difficult position. Did you enjoy that last question? Personally, I think every Celtic fan is now fed up with domestic success. I didn't see it. Let me just see. I think, mate, you know a lot of people I know, and you know the buses. Do you know that there's a lot of people that go in the buses that are a bit, do you know, they're not as excited about football anymore. Do you know, it's not, it's fucking, the rigmarole of playing each other 4 times a season. You get the cup, you've got a chance of playing somebody 6 times a season. Do you know, it can't be all there is. Do you know, we have to aim for a little bit more, and Europe is where that is. Now, even if it does mean taking... And what you don't want to happen, though, is for it not to go into the Champions League, because that 30-40 million pounds in the Champions League is what the club rely on massively. Massively. And if we go down into the Europa and get a run in Europa, like 2003, you've got to remember that we got knocked out of the Champions League in 2003, and that's when we went into the Europa and went on a run. Now, if it takes for something like that to happen again, and God forbid that it did, but then we get a run to the later stages in the Europa, and if we have that little bit of success, because if it does happen, you've got a lot of fans of another club who've had fantastic runs in the Europa over the last 6 years. They'll be sitting watching saying, come on then, do as good as us. Let's see if you can do as good as us. And that's, like it or not, that's what it comes down to in Scottish football. Oh, we got further in Europa than you. Are you prepared to lose a Champions League qualifier for that to happen? No, I'm not. But we will receive the money and they don't use it or help it to improve. Yeah, this is true. We would win the Europa and walk into... Jesus. I don't think we would, Kaiser. I don't think we would. When you see the way that Ange Postecoglou had to change his tactics, change everything that he knows about football to play 5-6 at the back against a really, really bad Man United team. It's like, come on, I've never seen... I mean, Fergie was sitting at this, and there was ex-Man United players sitting at that game going, my kids can play better football than this current Man United team. It was one of the worst Man United... And to win by the 1 goal, you're just thinking, it was an awful game. It was one of the worst European finals I've ever watched in my life. No wonder I don't watch English football too. I was wanting to watch the first half of the Hibs, but it's nowhere. I'd love a game against Liverpool. Whoa, we beat them before. But you know, I don't fear anyone when it comes to, well, maybe not in the Champions League now. We've not got the players or the team. Anyway, right, that has been done and dusted on this one. I am going to jump over to this video here, and around about 6 minutes or so, I have a little break, and then we'll be back for the game. On that note, I hope you've enjoyed this Ajax versus Celtic team news as we bring it to the table. It's just like, it's a good team. It is a good team. But let's see what it's made of now. On that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.